Hey, welcome back to the Judges series. I'm David Wright, your host. Today's vlog is from spy to giant killer, and we're going to cover verses 11 through 15. You might think back to the book of Exodus. Moses sent out 12 spies, one from each of the tribes, and only two of them came back and gave a positive report to the people about conquering the promised land. One was Joshua. He was their leader. Eventually, when they came back to conquer the land, Joshua led them. The other one went on from being a spy to later becoming a giant killer. And we'll review some of those verses here in Judges 1. His name is Caleb. Look at verse 11. We'll pick up there. From there they went against the inhabitants of Debir. Now, Debir was formerly Kirjath Sepher. Notice the previous name. Debir once was recognized as one of the 11 cities in the highlands of Judah. It is situated about 10 miles west of Hebron, and the historic site originally belonged to the Anakim. If you look in Joshua 15. And it thrived as a vibrant cultural center for the Canaanites. And we'll talk more about the Anakim momentarily. Verse 12. Then Caleb said, whoever attacks Kirjath Sepher and takes it, to him I will give my daughter Axa as wife. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it. So he gave him his daughter Axa as wife. Now, Joshua and Caleb were spies who gave Moses a positive report about Israel's conquest of the promised land. Caleb survived another 40 years of the wilderness wanderings where everyone but Joshua and Caleb died and returned to cross the Jordan River and conquer Jericho and the rest of the promised land. He was about 80 years old when they carried that out. And he also claimed Kirjath Sepher, reminded Joshua that Moses had promised it to him. And Joshua 15:14 says, Caleb drove out the three sons of Anak from there, Shishai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the children of Anak. So Caleb is the one who removed the sons of the giant named Anak. Now, Othniel is also mentioned in verse 13. Othniel was Caleb's nephew. And later father-in-law, but his father was Kenaz, and you'll see that here in verse 13. In Judges 3, we learn that Othniel was chosen by God to be Israel's first of about a dozen judges, and we'll see that in chapter 3. Let's move on to verse 14. Now, it happened when she came to him, that is now Axa, who Caleb wants to marry, and she is, the him here is to her father. When she came to him, that is Caleb, that she urged him to ask her father, she came to Othniel, let me back up, and she urged Othniel to ask her father for a field. And she dismounted from her donkey, and Caleb said to her, so now that it just zooms in on a conversation about the details, what do you wish? Verse 15, so she said to him, to Dad, give me a blessing. Since you've given me land in the south, give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. Now, there's some interesting details here that are provided in the text. The term Southland comes from the Hebrew word Negev, and which might be familiar to you, like Negev, the Negev desert in southern Israel. Now, and Herth in archaeology in the Old Testament discusses a discovery that was made at Khirbet Rabbit, believed to be the original site of Kirjath Sefer that's mentioned in verse 12. And here's a quote from Dr. Hirth. Archaeologists found that Rabbit had been occupied at the proper time in history. Additionally, they found 2 wells carrying the names Upper and Lower Wells near the site that overflow in the summertime. So these wells actually overflow and were discovered here by archaeologists. And that strongly supports the account of Judges, evidence of their historical accuracy there. Interesting picture as well. Now, next week we'll continue our Judges series, and we will be studying, at least this is the first study regarding the iron chariots. And we'll be covering verses 16 to 21, interesting details, some more archaeology supporting evidence, and interesting facts as to the role that these iron chariots played in the book of Judges. Thanks for tuning in today. Please tune in again next week. The new vlog will go online on next Thursday. God bless.